Alright, so as promised, we're going to do a part 2 because I've also got to put a fuel pump in here because I need a fuel sending unit. So we're going to go ahead and get it up in the air, and the first thing we're going to do is remove our driver's side rear tire. We're going to pull this tire off. They've got a lock and lug on here, so I didn't get a key for that. Alright, got my key. Go find the right one. Get that wheel off of there. And I'll show you why we did that. Taking the rear wheel off, it gives us access to get this hose clamp off here and get this vent disconnected right here, which they are all full of clay as well. So we'll try to, might have to clean that out before I can get it to disconnect. Let's see if it'll just press in and pull out like it's supposed to. And I don't think it's going to. I think it's just full of, nope, there it went. It's just full of mud. And from there I can take this clamp off here, which is just a 10 millimeter. Unlock my ratchet so it'll swivel. Now I can twist it around. Look at that, that's so, got so much dirt on it, my socket got stuck on there. Now, it says, according to the gauge, that this thing's only got about a quarter tank in it. But seeing as how they're having trouble with the gauge, I don't know how accurate that is. Hopefully that's correct. But once you get that off, we got another hose right here we got to disconnect. And that one I am going to clean up because the connector on this likes to break. And it's, I mean, it's so hacked, it's like, that's just hard clay. I'm gonna see if I can get something to clean that out so I can get disconnected. I'll take a screwdriver and kind of bump on it, try to knock some of that dirt out of there, but I don't know if that's gonna do the trick because it is in there good. But there's two pieces on the bottom here. You gotta kind of slide them over, and then you should be able to pull this piece out up here, which you can't even see because there's so much dirt on it. Anyways, there's a little clip right there that'll pull out. And I'm probably going to have to fight this for a minute to try to get it out and not break it. Alright, we managed to get that little clip out. One side did break though. And I did my best to keep that from happening. What happens is dirt builds up behind it on over here and it won't give to unclip. And what happens is that side just happened to break off. And it was coming out good. I even took mechanic's wire and ran behind it to try to clean all the dirt out, but it just wasn't having it. But you can still use this with the one side broke, or you can also run a zip tie through these holes right here and that'll hold it together. And all this is our evap. Goes to our evap canister, and our vent valve lets the any gas vapors vent into our vapor canister. And that's really all that is. So the first thing we're going to do from here, we got to drop our fuel tank, of course. We're gonna go ahead and remove this. This is like a little skid plate for our fuel tank, made out of metal. We're gonna get that out of our way. Then we're gonna take the straps off the tank. All right, go ahead and get all these bolts out. Full of dirt. Got one way up here that I gotta get to. I don't want to pull that one yet. I think that is just the front two. And this one's way up here. Let's see if I can get to it with this. So I don't have to get a wrench. I normally do take it out with a wrench though. Yeah, it's up here. Over here on the side, behind our tire. And now we can take the last one out. This down. Hopefully, now we can get some ready for our tank and start taking our straps off. Okay, so we got our fuel tank supported. We've got one bolt here, one bolt here, and there's just one in the back, and then the strap runs into the side of the frame over here, right here, and then we can take our straps off. Our straps are going to be 17 millimeters. Work it sideways here. Get it out of this slot that it sits in. And then take the front shoe out. Now I can ease down on my tank a little bit so I can reach over it and unhook the fuel line and the connector. And it does have a quarter tank in it. Which is another good reason to have this wheel off. Might actually let the car too high. Let's see. Because all this is probably going to be full of mud too. I can get that connector loose. I can let it down more. Oh yeah, it's on there. Not wanting to cooperate. Come down just a little bit more. I'm not pulling on nothing yet. All right, I'm going to let the car down some to be able to get to it. There we go, it. Now just wiggle it. Got it. That one little connector. That thing was stuck. All right, now I can go around to the other side and reach up there and unplug the one fuel line. Oh, there it comes. There it is. Now we can bring the tank on down. Finally. All right. Okay, finally got the tank down. And we're gonna clean up all this dirt before we take the ring off here and pull the fuel pump out so we don't get dirt inside the tank. Okay, we got most of the loose stuff off. Now I'm just gonna take a big screwdriver and kind of tap around here at the top of this, break anything else up. And that should break some more up. Get all that as clean as I can. Now I'm gonna try to get this hose off. It's got the same style clip on it. I've already tapped on it some. Try to break that dirt loose that's in there, so that just maybe it'll come off without any trouble. And you see we got them two clips on the back side of it. We just got to spread those and try to push that out. Right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a small screwdriver and I'm just gonna try to get this side to come loose gently because I don't want to break it. I'm gonna come to this side, do the same thing, slightly push on it. Without it doing that, there went that side. I can't let it go too far or else I'm going to do this side. Alright, it's almost past the lock right there. Gently work it past that lock. One side goes further than the other, it will not go. It's just the way it's designed.
I was going to say something to you.
What?
You were wrong. You
What?
were wrong.
What?
You can't get the sending unit by themselves on this particular one.
Yeah, you can.
You can't. I agree with that with me. You get the fuel level sensor by itself. But
That's it. That's the sending unit.
it says fuel level sensor.
Yeah. Sending unit. Nissan calls it that. Who was wrong? Exactly.
Ass on me.
Alright, now we can pull that out.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. You got 108, however many thousand miles left. Fuel pump's going out of insurance.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry.
Still got to get them out at the same time or else it'll lock up. That will come out good. Alright, now I can get this off. Got a key that fits this perfectly. And we can use a 1/2-inch drive impact. Bump that right off. There's still a lot of dirt up here I'm going to clean off. I do not want that getting in the tank. Now you pull this out, you've got to work it to the side over here so that your sending unit can clear. And you gotta twist it sideways as you come out. There's your sending unit or fuel level sensor. Somebody just tried to tell me that these had a bulletin or a recall a long time ago where you replace these. So Nissan actually makes just the level sensor or level sensor for these, and you can unplug this right here and just replace just this. But we've got the whole fuel pump for this one. So I'm gonna clean all this up and get that over here. Get that old O-ring off of there because we're gonna be replacing that too. Clean all this up without getting it in the tank best I can. And we'll get the new pump. Just taking my time wiping all the dirt away by hand so it don't get in the tank. And then there's a little groove right here that O-ring's gonna set in. I'm gonna wipe that and press the dirt out to the side. You see it right there? So I don't want that going in the tank either. And I want this clean so that O-ring can set in it. Swap over and get a new corner drag. Get all this cleaned up by hand. I'm kind of tedious like that. I don't want to get dirt in the tank. It's slower, but it's right. Call it being tedious, or you can call it OCD, whichever one. I am slightly OCD, which is why I don't attempt to do a lot of cleaning at the house, because I can't just do a little bit, I have to go all out. If I start cleaning, I'm pretty much done for today. I like everything to be perfect. Or as close to perfect as possible. Alright, I'm not going to bore y'all with this because this is going to take a little while to get all this perfect. Okay, that's all cleaned up real good. I'll go ahead and put on my new O-ring, or Nissan calls it a gasket. And then we'll take our new pump, slide it down in here, turn it so that it's facing the correct position, and it's got a little tab on it that will go in place, which is right there. It's got a little tab right here. You need to take note though if you're doing this yourself of which way this thing faces. I've done a lot of these, so I know which way it faces just off the top of my head. Slide our ring back on, make sure that stays in place, press it down, go ahead and get it where it's starting to tighten, and I'll just bump it with this impact. Lock it back down. Now there's one piece I gotta get off the old pump. It goes right here, just a little retainer, and I gotta put that hose back on. Slide the old retainer back on. Go ahead and, if I remember right, this goes, yep, goes that way. Just puts it right back where it needs to be. So we'll put this on. Put our lock back in it. This only goes one way. Flip it over. So you got a little lip on this side, and that faces inwards. And that clips down. Press this back into this slot. And now we can let it back up, clip everything in place up top, and start tightening up everything. Start letting it back up in place. Stop right there and go ahead and start hooking my fuel line back up and that one connector up top. If this works out right, y'all are actually gonna have a better view than me. I'm gonna be filming and y'all actually probably gonna be able to see. Plug that in. Make sure that clips. Yep. Make sure I can't pull it back off. Alright, that's on. Go around to the other side, hook the fuel line back up. Nice if I stop stepping on that and making all that noise, wouldn't it? Let's see, I gotta find it. There's two little indentions I want to line up with the two tabs on this. If you don't get them lined up, it will blow that fuel line right back off. Yep. Feel until it's in place. And I can't pull that line loose. We'll finish going up with it now. And put it on the back side. Start a bolt. That started. I'll go to my front band. Go put my front band on. Tighten everything up. Getting rained on by dirt. Definitely gonna have to go home and get me a shower. Now we can let this down and our tank will stay. Once it starts that hot, that's it. And then we'll go over here and start hooking our lines back up. Or actually, we'll put our skid plate back on. Then we'll go over there and start hooking our lines back up. Got the skid plate. Then I'm gonna slide it over the leaf spring, and then right over our drive shaft. Start. Might have to line it up back here before I can start bolts. That's lined up. That's lined up. Go ahead and start a bolt. Start one there. Then we'll go around to the other corner. Start one back here. Start this one up here. Now we can start tightening everything down. Got everything started. I'll start back here because these have to go in a certain spot. That's the groove they fall in. That one. This one up here. Front tube. Now we can start hooking our lines back up. Now that our flashlight's charged up, it'll actually give y'all some light down in here. So we're gonna do all this the exact reverse of how we undid it. I'll hook this in, grab my clip, make sure I got it facing the right way. Lock it back in there. You can see that holds it. Hook our fuel hose back up. Tighten that down. Almost tempted to replace that band, it's kind of busted. That worm gear clamp. Now before I hook this up, y'all probably didn't see me take this off, but this goes in between these two hoses. It clips on to this one right there, and then clips on to this one, and that holds that hose in place. And then we'll hook this little vent back up, and now we can put the tire back on, and we're just about ready to take this thing for a test drive. Although I think it was wrong about a quarter of a tank. It looked like there's less in there than that. We'll see. Lock and lug. I'll have to go ahead and lock it in here. Start it. This one you don't want as tight. Alright, we're ready to go take it for a spin. So just before I go test drive this thing, that's all the dirt that I've swept up out from underneath here that has been falling down on me since I started working on it in part one. If you haven't seen part one, there'll be a link right here, so go check that out. So we did a bunch of services to this before we did the fuel sending unit. Now we're going to take this thing for a quick ride, make sure everything's working right.